Hi everyone, we are heading into the final week of this course, so I just wanted to touch base on the final set of assignments that are coming up in the next few days to make sure everybody's on track and knows what you need to do. I know you've been following the syllabus and can see that we're coming to the end here. So between now and the end of the course, which is next week, you have a few final assignments to do. So the final discussion, the first part, your initial post is due today, that's the 23rd. And then you'll do your responses by tomorrow, that's the 24th. Then the final quiz, that's quiz 3, that one opens on the 24th and closes on the 27th. So you want to make sure that you submit that final quiz, quiz 3, by the end of the day on the 27th, okay? You've already taken 2 quizzes. It's the same format. I think you guys know the drill by now, so I won't spend too much time talking about that. The final assignment then is your final paper. That's paper 2, and that one is due on the 29th. You've already done one paper. You did a very good job on that, but because the papers are a little bit different, a little bit of a bigger assignment, I did want to spend a couple of minutes talking about paper 2. So let's go ahead and do that now. So here we are on the home page of our D2L site. I'm going to go to assignments, and I'm going to go to the handout for paper 2, which is again due on the 29th. So for paper 1, you were talking about global media, and what I had you do for that paper is to identify an example of global media, and then talk about 3 of our readings about the media and connect your example to those readings. This paper is going to be a little bit different. In this paper, you're going to be making an argument, okay? So the primary instructions are right here at the top. So what I'm asking you to do for this paper is to take a position and argue it regarding these particular questions. What is the relationship between globalization and violence? And is violence an inevitable part of the globalized world? Okay, so I want you to take a position on that, and I want you to argue it. You're going to argue it using 3 particular readings from Unit 6. They're listed here. Steger chapter 7, Jones chapter 5, and the Jones conclusion. Okay? So be clear about what your position is, and then make sure that you use those readings as evidence to support your argument. That's the most important thing to do to be successful for this paper. So that means if you take the position that violence is inevitable, then state that and argue why you think that is. If you take the position that it is not inevitable, right, that violence doesn't necessarily need to be a part of this world, make that position clear, and again, argue it using those 3 readings as evidence and support. One thing I want to point out, and I think you did a pretty good job of this in paper 1, but I think it's an area that we could all improve on. So I want you to pay special attention to this for paper 2. When you're drawing on the readings to support your point, whatever it may be specific about it, okay? Don't just say all of these readings have to do with globalization, or all of these readings have to do with violence, or mention violence. That's too general, too vague, right? It doesn't really do a very convincing job of backing up your point. So be very specific. Say, in chapter 7, Steger says blankety blank, which, I'm going to use that to argue my position of whatever, right? Same with the Jones, right? Be specific. Again, also with both of these authors, Steger and Jones, you read lots of stuff by them. So be specific about which part of the Jones or which part of the Steger you are referencing. Don't generalize, don't globalize it. Make sure that you're taking particular points, particular pieces of evidence, and connecting those to your idea, okay? So again, this paper is due on the 29th by the end of the day. In terms of length and format, it's the same as paper 1. Again, you did a really good job on paper 1, so I'm sure you'll do a great job on paper 2. But because it's a little bit different, I wanted to just make sure that we talked very briefly about the handout and that you follow the handout and make sure that you do all the things that the handout spells out as you're writing your paper, okay? To assist you in that, you probably also have noticed for paper 1 and for this one for paper 2, on the first page of the handout, I give you the instructions, And then the second page of the handout is the actual rubric that I use to grade your paper. So again, a great rule of thumb for an assignment where you get the rubric like this is at the end when you've drafted your paper, go to the rubric, make sure you're doing all the things that the rubric indicates, right? And that you're doing them as thoroughly and as carefully and as well as you possibly can to make sure that you get the best possible grade. So again, we're very near the end. You've been working hard for this whole session. Keep at it. 1 week to go, and then you will have completed first half summer session GS 201. So as always, if you have any questions, please let me know, and good luck finishing everything up. Bye-bye.